Okay, so we're changing the brake pads on a motorcycle. This particular one is a VStar 1100. It's shaft driven, but that doesn't matter when you're changing the brake pads. It's all pretty universal with all the motorcycles that are disc brake. So basically, these two bolts are holding on the caliper, and the caliper is the place that has the two brake pads inside of it. I'll pull that off and show you. On these particular on this caliper, these bolts are 12 millimeter. So I just took it off. You can see the two bolts that I unscrewed, and you can see inside of the caliper, those are the two brake pads that slide over the rotor, which is right here. And so when you pull the handle, it compresses, it pushes the brake fluid down through those lines and compresses the two brake pads together. So to get to the actual brake pads themselves, you have to pop off there's a cap that sits on the top of that, and basically has that little lip. You just kind of press in, and that pops off. You can kind of see it says for pad service. You pop it off. Anyway, kind of a hard shot here, but up here at the top of this, there's a little cotter pin in that. I already took it out, but then you can see this pin is coming loose. So once I get that pin out, this metal bracket will pop off, releasing the brake pads. And there you can see the cotter pin, the pin itself, and then the bracket for the brake pads. So we have the new brake pad and the old brake pad. You can kind of see how worn down the old one was. But now we have a problem because the newer brake pad is thicker than the older brake pad. So we have to find a way to compress those two circles in there, which are the pistons for the brake pads. We need to find a way to push them back out so the brake pads will fit in and it'll still fit over the rotor. I'm pressing this as hard as I can with my fingers right now, and it won't go back out. So what you have to do is, when you have more space, it's nice to use a C-clamp like that, or a pair of channel locks. So I'm going to just kind of compress those back into the caliper itself so I'll have more room. I also unscrewed the brake fluid reservoir up there to let the levels inside fluctuate a little bit while I was decompressing these. Basically I used two channel locks, these two guys right here, to grab one on either side and compress them in. That way, now that they're completely open, I can get my pads in there, pop those two pins back through, put the cotter pins through them after I put that metal plate in, and then hopefully it all slides back on over the rotor itself. Alright, you can kind of see down in there that I got the two pins. This is definitely easier with someone with smaller hands. That's how I do it. I'm going to pop that cap back into place and wiggle it back onto the rotor. Alright, so I don't know if you can see down in there that I got the on either side of the rotor, the pads are now clamped on. I'm just going to tap the back brake a few times before I go anywhere, so it compresses back onto the rotor again. But anyway, yeah, if you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments. Like if this helped you, and make sure to subscribe. Thanks.